Right, so we are continuing our series of reviews for Best Picture nominees, and today we are reviewing The Shape of Water, which is a movie directed by Guillermo del Toro. Also stars Sally Hawkins, Octavia Spencer, Michael Shannon, and Richard Jenkins. So the movie follows Sally Hawkins, who is a janitor at a government facility. She's also mute and is best friends with Octavia Spencer's character. And she runs into an ethical issue when she notices that this facility houses a giant fish monster thing, I guess. I don't know what it is. And they are abusing this, and she's trying to figure out what to do. So I'm just going to go out on a limb and say this is probably the weirdest movie that was nominated for Best Picture, but both Walter and I really did enjoy it, and here's what we have to say.
So Chris mentioned that this is a strange movie, and it absolutely is. I have never seen anything like this movie. It's very original, like a lot of Guillermo del Toro's other films. The man has a real knack for writing very original, creative narratives that are just fun to watch. I also really like how this movie just absolutely sells the weirdness. Not to get too spoilery, but eventually a relationship develops between Sally Hawkins and this fish monster. And going into this, I thought this was going to be a very off-putting aspect of the movie. Honestly, everything about the movie sells it. Chris didn't really agree with this aspect, but I thought that it was really well done. The writing also tackles some themes that really speak to present-day issues. I was not expecting this in this movie, and it was really well done. And part of what sells this great writing are the great performances here. Sally Hawkins does a fantastic job. What really amazes me about this movie is that she's able to give such an emotional performance without saying a single word in the entire movie. It's all based on her body language and her facial expressions, and she really just sells this character. Michael Shannon is also a really incredible villain in this movie. He plays a character that he kind of plays in a lot of other things, but he just sells it so well, and he does a great job driving the story forward. And I have to mention Michael Stolberg as well. I kind of hinted at this in our Call Me By Your Name review, but this is a man who has appeared in 7 movies that have been nominated for Best Picture, and he has not been nominated for anything. Once again, he does a really good job in this movie, and he gives a performance that I wasn't expecting, but there's no Oscar love for him. Now, my favorite aspect of this movie is absolutely how well it looks. The cinematography is beautiful, but beyond that, the set design is so intricate, and the costumes, the design of the monster as well is really well done. There's also an interesting use of color, and all of this combines together to really just plant you in this world, and you feel like you're a part of it. It reminded me a lot of the video game BioShock. That game had a world that I kind of just wanted to be a part of. And this movie is very similar. So, to sum things up, this is a movie that got a lot of hype, and I feel like it is mostly well-deserved. This is definitely a great watch, however, there are a few minor issues with it.
So, like Walter said, there were a couple of minor issues with the movie. I think the biggest thing, like the one that was the most unforgivable, was the fact that about an hour and 20 minutes into this movie, it seems to almost climax, reach a point where it's like, oh dang, everything's about to go down. And then it does. And then the movie continues for like another 45 minutes or so. And it's like, okay, we just hit the most exciting point. Why is this still going for as long as it is? And then when the movie does finally reach the actual real ending of the movie, I thought it was a little bit corny. It wasn't anything like, okay, that was stupid. It was more just like, okay, that was weird. And that may be more just a personal preference than anything, but I guess it is what it is. But flaws aside, I thought this was really an excellent movie, and one that, given the right audience, I think a lot of people will really, really enjoy.
So I gotta be honest, at the end of the day, this is, out of all of the Best Picture nominees, the most original that I saw. It is a great story that I really enjoyed. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
You know, I agree. It was a really weird movie, but I actually appreciated how weird it was. I'm also going to give it an 8 out of 10.